Welcome to the BS Machine. This is your host, Tommy Kendi. I will be your guide through these episodes in 2023. One of the cool things about the BS Machine is that you always get some sort of gold out of every episode. Whether I'm getting guests on, and they're not just any guests, they are guests that have a cool story. Or whether it's me talking and giving you all my wisdom and all the things I've learned in life. Either way, there's always one piece of gold you'll take away from these episodes. So please enjoy and welcome to the BS Machine. Here we are. Do you guys like my new intro tune? I like it. I created it last week and I just thought, why not, eh? Everyone else has got every other podcast has got a cool intro thing, and so I just created that and I liked it. And welcome, guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the BS Machine. If you are watching me on YouTube, how you going? You'll see me on YouTube as I yap through this episode. If you are listening to me on Spotify or on the Apple Podcast app, welcome. Wherever you're listening around the world, welcome. And I'm loving getting little messages from overseas. Every time I get a message from overseas, I'm like, wow, someone's listening to me in Czechoslovakia. How cool is that? Or no, it's not called Czechoslovakia anymore. It's like Yugoslavia. Or is it? Well, one or the other. That's where I got a message from this week. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Anyway, how you going? How good is it that you're listening to me right now? And how good is it that I get to talk to you right now? Because it's been a huge week in my life. And I don't know if you're feeling, there's definitely a shift going on. There's definitely a shift going on in life. And, you know, what we're discussing today is around non-attachment. And I think it's such a big one because it's like, especially when it comes to creating or manifesting, it's how fucking annoying is it, right? That when something pops into your life, it always comes in, one, at the weirdest fucking time, and two, it comes in when you've totally let it go. It's like you don't care about it, and it's like, you know, you're not attached to it, and things pop in when it's like when you least expect it. But then if you go, like, for example, something huge has popped in for me this week, which I'm not going to tell you. You will find out there down the track. But something, you know, huge has just popped in for me this week, and it's something that I've in the past, like the last 5-6 years, I've sort of gone for, and I'm like, oh, I really want it, and I never fucking got it. And I just went, you know what? I'll just put it out there, release it, and if it ever comes in, great. If it doesn't, and I totally forgot about it. And out of the blue, I got a phone call. It was there within 2 days. It's on. I'm like, holy shit. And I was talking to Nick about this, my girlfriend, and it's like, and I really wanted to dive into it because it's like, how can things manifest or come to life in our lives when we least expect it? Why does it happen? Then when we're not attached to something, that's when it comes in. And so it's really interesting, isn't it? Because how are you meant to want something but not be attached to it at the same time? And it's like really a razor's edge, because when we listen to people, like if you listen to my last episode on manifestation, at that point, that thing didn't come in yet. And I re-listened to my podcast last week and I was like, wow, like I'm like, I was saying some really smart, good stuff, and I'm because I'm doing those things, and it was almost like I had to listen to that podcast to go, wow, that's actually, the last podcast is actually totally on the money with how to manifest, and because I've been doing it, things have sort of popped in for me. And so I'm sort of sitting here, and the last few days I really want to pick this apart, why it comes to be that when we are, how do you discern from wanting something and at the same point having the ability to detach from it? And so it's yes, I dived into it and I had a look at this and I'm like, okay, cool, let's pick this apart. And why is it so important to have non-attachment? And the reason it's so important to have non-attachment, even to the things that you desire, the things that you want, because when you are attached to those things, two things happen. When you're attached to anything, you go into a place of need. And what does need do? Need creates this thing of not being enough without it, right? So that's a really important one, because when you're focusing on the need that you have to have something in order to create happiness or to create joy or to create success, if you have to have it, then it's not going to fill you up. Then your cup's always going to be half empty. And this is where it becomes super interesting, because that's what I was talking about before. It's this idea of wanting something but not needing it, so you can detach from it, so you can have non-attachment. And then also, when you attach yourself to something, you're saying out to the world and to yourself and to others, what the intention is that whatever that thing is more powerful than you are. And that's not true. You are obviously the most powerful thing, the most powerful person in your life. So it is absolutely impossible for something to be out there, outside of you, that is more important for you. And so that's why we have to experience and learn non-attachment. So it's okay to want things. It's okay to dream. As I said in last episode, like, you have to have the courage to dream. But the purpose of dreaming and the purpose of visualization and the purpose of bringing all those things into your realm is so that you actually know what creates happiness for you. You actually know what it would be like to have and to live in your fucking dream. And so when you're not detached, that's the wrong word. When you experience non-attachment, what you're actually saying is that, yeah, you know what? I want those things. I deserve those things. Life would be much easier with those things that I want, with those dreams, with those visualizations, with those aspirations, but they don't complete me. And when you experience non-attachment, it gives you the space to also allow for those things to come in a different way. Because when you have a certain vision, when you have a certain goal, when you have a certain dream, because we're humans, what our minds try and do, the conscious mind tries to do, is it tries to work out how to get to all those things. And if you can get yourself to a place of non-attachment, then in that place of non-attachment, there is nothing to work out. There is nothing to fix. All you know is that you've put something out. You've put something out there. You've created something, whether you've written it down, when you've thought about it, whether you've visualized it, whatever it might be. So you've put something out there, and then that thing is, why did I lose my train of thought? I lost my train of thought. I was on the ball. It'll come back. It will definitely come back. So this idea of non-attachment, yeah, it puts you into this place of saying, I am whole. Oh, there it is. I've got it. So when you're putting these things out there, which I said before, the conscious mind tries to work out how you're actually going to get there. But when you're in non-attachment, then you're experiencing this idea that those things can come into you, those dreams, those visions, they can all come to you in their own way. As long as you are taking action towards them, as long as you are, what I said last week, visualize, the power of objectivity. What would Mel Robbins do? What would whoever do? How would they do it? Blah, blah, blah. Do those actions and then go. But the way that it's going to come in for you is not up to you. It may come in the way that you thought about it, but I reckon 9 times out of 10, it's not going to come in the way that you thought. So your only job is to have the courage to dream, the courage to write the shit down and visualize, the courage for power of objectivity to take action, whether it's you seeing yourself do it, whatever, take that fucking action. and however your dream is going to come in, it will come in. So what does it mean to be in non-attachment? In non-attachment pretty much means that you've put it out there, you've done all the things, and you just let go. And you have this full fucking trust that it's going to happen for you. And not just for you, but it's going to happen for the people around you, for the people that you love, for the world even, depending on what your dream is, what your vision is. So this idea of non-attachment is you have to have the trust. You've got to have the trust that it's going to happen. And it may happen now. It may happen next month. It may happen in a year's time. Who the fuck knows? All I know is that if you keep taking action towards it, this intuitive action, you keep doing what you get, whatever you're writing down, whatever you're visualizing, if you're doing what that's telling you, it will come in so much quicker than if we're just sitting on a couch and being attached to it, going, oh, I'm not going to be happy unless I get that thing. Fuck it off. Just lose any attachment to anything. So a good way, this is one of my ways that I experience non-attachment, because you know what, in all honesty, since this thing's come in for me in the last couple of days, or the last 4 days, I've experienced more anxiety than I've had in a long time, because I wasn't planning for it to come in now. And there it is. I wasn't planning for it to come in now. But I've experienced anxiety, I've experienced excitement, I've experienced incredible, more like incredible excitement. And now I'm sitting here and this thing's actually happening, and I'm going, oh my God, fucking hell, it's going to happen. And then you get those little voices that come in and go, oh, something's going to fuck up, da, da, da. But then, even now that I'm in the midst of it, it's having this idea of non-attachment. I'm still being super careful to be non-attached. I'm being super mindful. Actually, careful is not the right word. I'm being super mindful and super attentive and aware to not attach to anything, just to keep fucking living my life as I have been. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of what I've created. I'm very proud of how I live my life. I'm very proud of my partner. I fucking love her. I love my friends. They mean so much to me. But the relationship I have with my mum, unbelievable. And, I'm very proud of the person that I've become today. And so this idea of non-attachment, it becomes, it's fucking hard. It is, because, okay, cool. So I'm going to tell you how to non-attach, and I'll tell you how I do it. And the way that I do it, which works really well for me, is that as soon as I have this feeling of anxiety, like I feel myself attaching back into this thing, it's like, oh my God, I need it, I want it, da, da, da. As soon as I feel that, I'm like, yep, cool, time to move into non-attachment, and I have to separate myself from it and just expect that the highest good is going to happen for me, for the people I love, and the world. So I always know that I've got this thing. It's like the highest good will happen, I know. But a great way to non-attach, and you can do this within 2 or 3 seconds, is that if you're feeling any anxiety or you're feeling any fear because it hasn't come yet, or you're feeling any sort of angst, you close your eyes. And it's funny, isn't it? A lot of these things come with closing your eyes. And I do that because I know as soon as I close my eyes, there's no distractions. And that's why in yoga, meditation, breath work, or whatever, a lot of the time, depending on what yoga practice you're doing, but a lot of the time it's like, dude, if you close your eyes, attention inward, and you're fucking there, and you're noticing what's going on. So when you close your eyes and you want to get into a place of non-attachment, you close your eyes, you notice the fear or the anxiety or the whatever the fuck you're feeling, and you literally put it into this little bubble wherever in the body you're feeling it. And I usually feel anxiety and feelings like that just near my diaphragm. So I imagine that there's this little bubble, and I put that fear, I put it into the bubble, and I just let it go. I detach from it. That's step one. The next step is to the actual thing that you're wanting, that you also have to become non-attached to it. So you put into this little bubble, and it's almost like you just send it off and you say, go and do what you need to do. And then immediately you feel this release in the body. You feel this but you feel this like release straight away. It's gone. And so non-attachment, there's many ways to do it. That's one way that really works for me. And I like doing things that are immediate. I don't like to fucking waste time. Like, I mean, there is different ways, just because I think as I've done so much work, I'm like, yeah, cool. If I want to experience non-attachment, this is how I do it. Go, let's fucking detach from it, right? But there is other ways to do it. You can get your diary, you can get your journal, you can do whatever and write about it, and make sure you write about why it's so important to be in non-attachment. And that's the thing, it'll come through for you as well. And I'm sure some of the things I'm telling you here will also prompt you, not impromptu, prompt you into stepping into non-attachment. And then you'll notice that when it comes with this level of power. And when you're, it's almost like when you're not attached to a lot of the things in your life, in this idea of non-attachment, then it's very hard to trigger someone that's in a place of non-attachment, because they're not holding on to anything. And when you're in a place of non-attachment, you don't feel yourself wanting to go into defense mode and wanting to defend your rights and defend your dreams and defend this and defend that and be like, no, I'm right, you're fucking wrong, or this is how the way it should be. You just detach, you experience non-attachment. And this can be done in anything in your life. It could be done with arguments. If there's, people that are acting in ways that you don't agree with, let them do that. Are you going to buy into that and go into that and go, oh, what they're doing is wrong and run and fucking, it's boring, man. Like it takes so much of your physique. The only person that's actually experiencing the angst and all that type of shit when you're angry at others, or when others are acting in a way that you don't want to act, you're the only person suffering. They don't give a fuck. They're doing their thing. So what's your job? Your job is to detach from it, non-attach, and just come back to yourself. Come back to yourself. You always want to come back to yourself. And when I mean to yourself, like I guess the meat and potatoes of it is that when you come back to yourself, I almost imagine seeing myself in my own body, what's happening within the inner edges of my skull, within the inner edges of my skin. There's no one else in there, only I'm in there, my physical body, my muscles, my spirit. I think my spirit's in there. I mean, I feel my spirit. I fucking feel my spirit. And my spirit is in warrior mode at the moment. Holy shit, are we getting some shit done? I'm very proud of your spirit. So if you're listening, I fucking love you, because you are kicking butt, A+ at the moment. So it's imagining that you're the only one experiencing everything. You're the only one experiencing everything. This is your job. Your job is to look out at the world, and you are allowed to dream. You are allowed to fucking dream big, and as we spoke about in the last podcast, dream fucking big. Dream big, bitches. And but then there's this next part to it, which is the non-attachment part. So I think you guys would have got quite a bit out of what non-attachment is. And there's a really good what is it? I'm actually opening Google now because there's actually a really cool video on non-attachment, and I'm going to bring it up right now. I'm pretty sure it was a TED talk. Letting go of the outcome. Oh, is that it? Oh my God. Anyway, just go. It'll be one of those. I won't waste too much time looking for it while I'm on the fucking podcast, because I don't edit these things, so I don't want you to. Yeah, so anyway, just put up non-attachment, non-attachment TED Talk. Put that into Google, and there is one there which I watched before. We're letting go of the outcome. That's one, and the unstoppable power of letting go. That's two. That's two. There's one that's sort of 18 minutes, one that's 11 minutes. and I'm pretty sure they're the ones. I'm not going to look at it now, but anyway, so there is, and also, guys, there's so much information out there. So go get it, and it's like 2023 has this feeling like if you're aware and you're in this spot where you're ready and you've got everything, all your ducks in a row, the shit's going to come in for you. Like it is. The shit is going to come in. Just make sure you got all your ducks in a row. Keep fucking dreaming. Expect the fucking best. And also really exercise this idea of non-attachment. We always get so many opportunities every day to experience non-attachment, and they happen for us all day. So as soon as you feel trigger from your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, best mate, whatever, if you're feeling any sort of triggering, it's an opportunity to let the fuck go and to experience non-attachment. You put it in the bubble and you go, see ya, mate, fucking love ya. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next week. I was going to have a fucking cool guest on today, and he cancelled, so I'm going to get him on next week. He's really cool. Hopefully he'll come on next week, but otherwise, here we go, gang. Let the party start. Fucking love ya. See you later. Oh, by the way, can you guys please, I have to remind myself to mention this, to review the podcast, especially on Apple Podcast app or Spotify. Subscribe and fucking share and like if you can like. Anyway, love ya. See, boys and girls, have an epic one. Mwah, 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 mwah. Wow, wow.